I am Sue Tetzlaff, co-founder of Capstone Leadership Solutions. Jane is over there, and we're here with our friends at Schoolcraft Memorial Hospital in Manistee, Michigan. And our event today is what we call a showcase event, where we love to showcase the amazingness of our rural hospital partners, the work that they've been doing. Some of them have been at it for months, but the folks here in this room have been at it for 12 years now. In fact, we have a unique history together, and our unique history is that when Jane and I co-founded our company 12 years ago, this Friday on Groundhog's Day, we formed our company for one initial sole purpose, and that was to come over here to Manistee and take some information and some solutions and some things that we had found that had worked in our own rural hospital that had improved the patient experience, the employee experience. They were building a new hospital. They wanted to take a new culture into their new hospital with the new equipment and all of that. And they asked if we'd come help them. We formed our company to do that. And then eventually we had to leave our day jobs, and we've done 30 now, similar transformations, primarily in critical access hospitals all around the US, mainly in the Midwest. But we really wanted to showcase today the teams and the work that in particular the teams have been doing. There's a lot of things that over the last 12 years they've been working on to continually improve and advance and grow Schoolcraft Memorial Hospital. But in particular today, to narrow it down, we could spend all day, all week talking about the great things they've done over 12 years, but we're kind of narrowing it down into the portion related to their teams. So with that, we are going to, in Capstone language, and it's right here on my mug, just start. And we're going to start by showing a video. No, first we're going to do a quick introduction to kind of the before and after. So I'm going to hand it over, and we're going to start with that, and then we'll go back and show a video.
Hi, I'm Ann Bradshaw, and I'm one of those people that has been here for quite a long time. And I was here 20-some years before I stepped into a management role, and then eventually we were introduced to the Capstone. But to give you a little bit of a look back, that was our CEO that's up there on the porch with me at our old building before we were moving out. We've got a few pictures of what the desk situation looked like. As we were getting ready to leave that building, we see the emergency room and packing boxes. The top left is the waiting area. When you first walked in, it was just a very tiny spot. You walked directly into the nurses station. So that was like the hub. Everybody stopped at the nurses station. And then we have like hallways, the med surg hallway. And one of our services that we no longer have was our OB service. That was Dr. Phillips taking care of one of the little babes there. And then we had our large group of people off to the right as well. So, you know, when we were coming into this facility, you know, it was a place to come to, not this facility we're in, but the old hospital before we switched over and transformed to the Capstone model. It was a place to come to work and practice your profession. You had the skills, come in, do what you're supposed to do, and that was it. I myself, being a bit naive to the work environment when I first started my nursing profession, I was going to soon learn by experience and thrown into the fire of what happens when you work with other people and there isn't a standard to follow. So as time went on, that started to wear on me as an individual and a professional, because I thought I was there to take care of people. Everybody gets along, it's wonderful, and it wasn't. It wasn't at all. And what I come to learn was there was lack of respect for the work that you were doing. There's backbiting, nurses eating your young, pods of cliques everywhere. And if you weren't in the clique, you needed to watch your back. Fear of consequences for making mistakes. So essentially, it was an arena not conducive to truly thriving, but rather existing. Come in, do your work, get your check, get out. But then there was talk about a new building coming. And we had a couple conversations at a couple different points in time, but finally it was coming to fruition and we were going to be moving into the building plan for 2013. And with that move, there was talk about we needed to bring in a whole new attitude for patient experience and employee experience. So we then were to learn there was a group, a company coming in, and we were introduced to the capstone model. And at first my thoughts were, oh my goodness, how is this ever going to work? But the more they talked to us and just gave us the energy and the vibe that it does work, the more excited everybody was getting. And it's like, yeah, this is exactly what we needed. So as Sue said, you have to just start. And those words are pretty much everywhere. And for me, they're not only in this organization, but they are in my everyday life of things that I encounter. And I'm wondering, how am I going to pull that off? And those little words come up in my head that you just have to start. You just got to do it. Get your plan and get moving on it. So the next hurdle after we decided we were going to go with the capstone and getting it started, getting the strategic plan set, was how are we going to get the employees to buy into this? Because not all of the employees were at the energetic workshop that we all had, and we're learning as we were going. We were bringing it down to them. So we encountered a lot of backfeed on people making comments of, well, why bother? It's not going to work anyway. And there's just one more thing for us to do. They want us to do what they want. And then there was that big divide between the they and the us, and kind of bringing us together as a team rather than the silos that had been created. We then embarked upon doing the behavior standards, which to me was the key foundation for us to be able to start building upon, because without those behaviors and to be able to hold us all accountable for how we were going to interact with each other, the people coming through the door, it was for naught. We had to have those in place. A large group of employees got together and made it happen. And I was so excited by what they accomplished. It was amazing. And you think, well, how can that ever happen? You just got to start the process and get it going. And of course, we always had the support of Jane and Sue coming alongside, whether it be coming on campus, meeting with us, calling on the phone. How do we do this? Then we ventured on to doing scoring, like what's scoring? Survey scores. Well, how do I know how to do that? So the survey scores started and we were taught how to read those scores. And once you read the scores, now what are we going to do with it? How do you make the changes? And they were with us step by step along the way. And it was phenomenal to actually see those numbers on paper. And then once we got the program started, to watch the numbers start to move upward, which was really a driving force for us to keep going. It was a great encouragement. And then we began with the employee engagement through all of the committees. And it's astounding to see what all of the committees are doing. All the leaders of those are just taking it and pushing it forward, and to have all of the staff who are willing to be a part of it, to become part of what I feel is another cornerstone for making the whole organization work and making people feel that they are a part of this organization. So in closing, I have seen and experienced the not so good era and the effects it has had and did have. And I've also had the opportunity to experience the good to the great and the feeling that you matter and your voice is heard. So I encourage everybody here to keep going and giving it your best, because it is working.
Thanks for that great overview. As you were saying that, Sis, like, because Jane and I were both here in those very early weeks and months of this, I could actually like really remember what the before was. The audience is not going to probably appreciate that as much as those of us that were there before, about just how much transformation has happened, and the credit to be given to the leaders and the employee teams in particular. And it really, we say it takes everyone.
Yeah.
So, so as mentioned, today we really wanted to focus on showcasing the efforts of the teams and their major contributions to that. And our approach, now that beyond our initial work with Schoolcraft, over and over again, we've worked with mainly small rural hospitals. We've been able to put together what we would call a core structure for the teams. In the beginning, we didn't really know what that was going to be, but after you've been doing it long enough, you start to see patterns and what works. And it almost feels like the last 12 years have been a lot of research and development in that regard, working with hospitals. And so the team structure that we really landed on is that there's typically a steering team, and you had that right from the start, a steering team, which was your senior leadership team, and also the heads of the, what we would call employee-driven teams. And we learned this model of using employee-driven teams to really take employees and ask them to contribute to the organization's key strategies, like improving the patient experience, improving the employee experience. And we learned that from John Cotter out of Harvard Business School when our own hospital is working on its transformation. Is the recommendation is to create a volunteer army, that leaders alone can't do all the heavy lifting to make the types of changes that you were noticing needed to be made in the culture, in the silo behaviors, those kind of things. So the core structure includes that steering team. It's really the oversight, keeps things coordinated. They're responsible for, we call it, this is how we team around here. So oversighting the team structure, making sure the teams are thriving and functioning well, getting their action plans done. And then also, this is how we lead around here. So they also focus on the ongoing leadership development. It's pretty common when we start working with a hospital, even now 12 years later. We were just talking with another hospital this morning. They don't have a structure for ongoing leadership development. And then you don't have for onboarding new leaders and then succession planning for, like, that's a pretty common baseline finding, is there isn't a process. So the steering team oversights that. And then the other piece is really kind of being the oversight for being an organization that's agile and can change well. We've learned that there's 7 common barriers to change that most organizations will bump up against all along the way. It's not easy every day, right? On your teams, there's struggles, but that's what makes us stronger. We get creative, we pull together, we figure it out. We call it study adjust. We try something else and tweak it. And so the steering team really oversights, this is how we team, this is how we lead, this is how we change. Now those teams, beyond the steering team, is what we call employee-driven teams. So we say they're leader-led, but employee-driven. We've tried them without leaders on the team. It can work, but what we find sometimes is that having a leader actually facilitate the team, not really do the work of the team, not making all the decisions, bringing up all the ideas, taking all the actions themselves, leaving with a to-do list, but really facilitating the employees to come up with the ideas, make the decisions, do the work of bringing these solutions into the organization. Is that these team leaders also help navigate the bureaucracy, because an employee may not know even how to get a room for a meeting, or how to access resources or change a policy or things like that. So the leaders help in that way, but mainly the teams are made up of employees. Employee engagement is a hot topic. We'll hear a lot where people say, oh, we want to increase our employee engagement. And they're like, how do you do that? What do you really do? Well, when you have a team structure like this, it invites employees to engage, right? In a very specific purpose with a very specific plan. So same thing with your goal cycle. It invites employees to come and contribute and engage in goal attainment. So these teams are a place. The core teams are an employee experience team, a patient experience team, and it used to be an employee training team. We've kind of modified that into a purpose of communication and training as well. Those are core teams, but then also some of our partners have a community team, like you do here, a well-being team, maybe a high reliability team, focus more on quality, bringing that out of the patient experience team and focusing that separately, like that. So some of our partners have maybe 8 teams in their structure, reporting to the steering team. Now, one of my memories about your steering team, and you mentioned, says the behavior standards. So with the teams, one of the things that we coach to is that the steering team, even though they're oversighting all of the activity of these employee teams, we kind of have this mantra of proceed until apprehended. That once the teams have their plans and the plans have been approved for the year, it's go time and they just run fast, right? Yes, the steering team helps coordinate their efforts, support them in their efforts, but really they have permission to run, right? And go fast. But sometimes there's a need to go to the steering team and kind of ask permission, get input, ask if they agree. The behavior standards is one of those where you really want the steering team support that the work that the employees did on that we hit the mark. Well, I remember when those draft behavior standards came to your steering team and you had standards for fun. And the steering team said, I don't know if we should have standards for fun. Like, we're a serious business. This is life or death sometimes. And maybe it's inappropriate to have fun in healthcare. I remember the discussion and the employees rose up and they're like, we're keeping it. Right? So let's talk about a full circle moment. So last year I was here on site when you opened up this new building, the Cornerstone building. We were doing some strategy work here and I wanted to take a look around your building. And I was going through the business office area of your new building here. And on the whiteboard, as big as could be, was the word fun. I mean, it was like plastered. And I said to the employee that was working in there, one of the employees, I said, why is that up on the board? And they said, that's a standard we're focused on this month, is fun. And it took me right back to fun is going to be a standard here. And I think the video coming up, but also the rest of today's presentation about the teams is going to display that fun can be appropriate in the culture and it's helpful and it's been part of your success. It's more than that. There's more standards than that. There's more things that you value here, such as, you know, always getting better, always getting greater and growing for your community. But in particular, I think you'll notice that it can be fun work. And so with that, we're going to get a better overview via a video that was put together to overview the specific details of these teams.
Hi, I'm Andy Bertapella, the CEO of Schoolcraft Memorial Hospital. If you are new to SMH, or even if you've been here for some time, you may have heard some terms being talked about like cornerstone, rounding, employer of choice, or recognize a star, and some others, and you might have wondered what they were all about. They may have seemed like random, unrelated programs or events that sometimes concerned you and sometimes not. The truth is, these programs and events are interrelated, and they do involve you, your department, and the hospital as a whole. We at SMH call it Cornerstone. The Cornerstone program is a framework that provides organizational alignment of strategic initiatives to flow seamlessly from the Board of Trustees through the senior leadership team to department managers and finally to each individual employee. Its purpose is to create and sustain a culture of excellence for both patients and employees. It does this by tying employees together to the organization's mission and vision. It gives employees a sense of purpose through the ability to see the big picture and know how every individual at SMH contributes to the whole. The two main vehicles that Cornerstone uses to accomplish its plan are by focusing on the Cornerstone pillars and the use of the Cornerstone teams. We will look at the Cornerstone pillars first. The Cornerstone program is the foundation of 6 pillars which hold up and support the hospital's strategic plan. Each pillar is unique and creates an area of focus for the organization. The 6 pillars, or areas of focus, are finance, growth, service, quality, people, and community. Monitoring all the pillars ensures a well-balanced organization, and success in one pillar often leads to success in another. For example, an increase in patient satisfaction may lead to an increase in market share that leads to an increase in profits. For the sake of time, let's take a brief moment to look closer at just 2 of the 6 pillars. We begin with the service pillar. The service pillar focuses on strategies to improve patient satisfaction. This is accomplished through nurse leader patient rounding, patient commitment standards, proper phone etiquette, and a robust service recovery program. Feedback from our patients and staff provides invaluable information about how and where we can improve our patient care and ultimately patient satisfaction. Nurse leader patient rounding is a conversation between nurse leaders and a patient to establish a rapport, harvest recognition opportunities, assess staff performance, validate that performance expectations are being met, identify opportunities for service recovery, and to manage up other caregivers. SMH recognizes that how we interact with our patients can leave a positive or a negative impression. Patient communication standards and proper phone etiquette ensure that we treat our patients appreciatively and with respect. When we identify an area where we have fallen short of our expectations, we have a way to try to make it right through our service recovery program that reimburses our patients with a gas card or a Jack's gift card. Let's look at the people pillar next. The people pillar focuses on strategies to improve employee satisfaction. This includes the adherence to employee behavioral standards, open lines of communication, employee reward and recognition programs, and employee trainings. Every employee is encouraged to embrace the employee behavioral standards, which includes possessing a positive attitude, teamwork, respect, and privacy for our patients and each other, service excellence, and fun. Additionally, SMH knows that without effective lines of communication, employees feel disconnected and unengaged. Communication is therefore ensured through employee forums, employee rounding, both at the department and senior leader level, and communication boards. It is also the desire of SMH to recognize those dependable and hardworking employees that work selflessly. Therefore, SMH created an employee reward and recognition program that consists of leader thank you notes, the Staff Matter Here program, the Employee Thank You program, and Recognize the Star program. Finally, SMH is committed to creating an environment where employees can work and grow to their highest potential. To that end, it holds staff training throughout the year to promote personal growth and to disseminate organizational goals and initiatives. Now let us turn our attention to the Cornerstone teams. Cornerstone relies on several teams that are responsible for creating and implementing strategies related to SMH's goals and strategic plan. It is important to note that these teams are primarily made up of employees, not managers or senior leaders. This is to ensure that employees have input on important organizational initiatives. All employees of SMH are encouraged to join a Cornerstone team at some point during their employment. It is a responsibility that contributes directly to the mission and vision of SMH and allows employees to participate at a global level. The Cornerstone teams are Cornerstone Steering Committee, Senior Leadership Team, the Leadership Team, the Employer of Choice Team, the Employee Training Team, the Community Staff Relations Team, and the Service Excellence Team. Let's look briefly at what a couple of these teams do. The Employer of Choice team's purpose is to help SMH become an employer of choice, where employees feel they are doing worthwhile work, making a difference, and finding purpose in their jobs. They oversee the Employee Satisfaction Survey, its content, response rate, and communicating the results, then working with the steering committee to formulate goals and action plans to improve satisfaction. This team works to implement the initiatives of the people pillar. The Community Staff Relations team organizes events for both employees and the community to promote positive relationships and maintain a positive image of the hospital. The Community Health Fair, Feeding America distribution, Harvest Gathering Food Drive, and Festival of Trees events are some very popular examples of this team's activities. This team is heavily involved with the planning and implementation of the community pillar. The Service Excellence team endeavors to develop the workforce in hospital systems to achieve high levels of satisfaction of patients. This team is also responsible for developing patient communication standards and is integral to the service pillar. Finally, the training team works hand in hand with the other teams and is responsible for organizing and presenting training programs that bring high quality training related to the initiatives of the hospital as identified within the 6 pillars. As you can see, Cornerstone is a detailed, far-reaching program designed to allow our organization and its employees to reach their full potential. It is my hope that this short presentation has given you a greater appreciation of what Cornerstone is and what your role is within it.
Very good, Andy.
Props to the CEO.
Yeah.
Go for
Do
it.
it.
Go for it.
All right, well, I'm Sarah Giles. I'm the marketing director at Schoolcraft Memorial Hospital and so lucky to be the chair of this team for almost 10 years. I've definitely seen a boom and growth in the different activities that we do. I have an incredible team pictured here, and we really try to make sure we have representation across the hospital, so clinical and non-clinical staff. And you'll get to meet all of our teams as we go. So just a little overview. We're responsible, like the previous video said, to put on community events. Our employees are engaged in community and involved in many events representing our organization. Our SMH Cares program offers opportunities throughout the year to get involved. So we thought it was so important to have that engagement in our community that we've actually developed a brand called SMH Cares, and I'll show you some pictures. We've got new outfits coming this year. But everywhere we go, you can see that logo on the top right. We really try to promote that if there's an event in the community, we're out there. Then we really focus on partnerships. We work with different agencies, coalitions, groups that are working towards change and growth. We let people use our conference space as well. We're always working with the Tourism Council and businesses to partner on different projects. And we'll definitely have some examples to show you. And in addition to that, we encourage, with our community benefits survey, we're always looking for ways to engage through education and shared learning. And our team members are educating youth and community members. We actually have some of our COSA students in the room today to learn. But it's just so important for us to be mentors to our youth. And so we look to different events like speaking engagements, health fairs, community clinics to make that happen. One thing I will say, like this is an image of our Festival of Trees. Even though you're a hospital, think about ways to get people to come to your hospital when they're not sick. We have developed so much trust and excitement around our services, and we have unique ways of educating on services just by bringing people into our facility. We're blessed because we have a beautiful atrium that allows us to put on different types of events, but the Festival of Trees is a great example of how we work with businesses to showcase what they offer, and they advertise for us in return. So this year we fundraised for our new medical imaging equipment. It was awesome. Some pictures here. We got our youngest CPR trained youth. So our county health fair came back this year. We had a lot of fun. These are the new shirts we're getting, and we love the brand so much. We even decked out our new vehicle fleet in the DigiCamel and the SMH logo, so we're pretty excited. And we have a really neat drive-through in our hospital, which we used during COVID. We did vaccine clinics, but we also use it for Feeding America. So cars actually line up behind our hospital, drive through, pick up their food, and move on. So we're excited to bring those back in April. We do a lot of parades. We're at trade shows. Like I said, community education is really important to us. Early on, we were really focused on internal fun. So we planned a lot of the internal events like the Halloween parties, the Christmas parties, And our team has really changed to more of that community focus. So here you see us having fun. Last year we had a decade party. Everyone came in their favorite decade, and we were actually raising money for our medical imaging equipment in addition to having a great time with our team. So you could definitely see some creative outfits through the years, but definitely have fun. We know how to do it here at the hospital, and the Grease performance was unforgettable, I'll say that. Hospital week is a pretty big deal here. We have a lot of great events. I know Hank's gonna outline some of the things we do, but just taking time to honor your employees for their years of service and having a week full of events, we really enjoy that one. The gala fundraiser is another way we engage. We've only had 2 so far, and they've both been really successful, so this year will be our 3rd. And it's a fancy event. You can't really dress up that often in Manistee, so people really look forward to a nice dinner and a night out, and we've got some great entertainment. We just really focused on, celebrating your employees during hospital week. We do a week of amazing events. We do a lot of employee parties, like I said in the past, fundraisers for a cause, and one of those examples is the Harvest Gathering. We collect food every year with the Michigan Health Association and donate that to local food pantries. So you'll also find us on the highway. We're out there cleaning up a couple times a year. We do music in the park. That's different bands play every Wednesday during the summer months. We're out there giving water. There's our CEO at the parade this year with his beautiful wife. He's also Santa, if you can believe it. But one thing I'll say about our CEO, he's all about unity, and if he's asking employees to do it, he's out there with us. So, and he's really present, and I think that really makes a difference for communities to know that the CEO is out there. Recipe Success is kind of cool this year. We worked with Feeding America. We actually made healthy food samples and gave them out to people who were waiting in line to pick up their food. So something new, we really enjoyed that. But I'll let Hank take it away and talk about the work that the Employer Choice team does. You have to use the notes.
All right, so I'm Hank Ritchie, leader of the lab at Schoolcraft Memorial and also leader of the Employer of Choice team. See, we have a great team full of eager employees to make sure we're the best. So every year we do quarterly CEO town halls. We promote and facilitate throughout the year. We encourage teams to communicate. We make sure that they know that they're being heard. As Sarah said, or actually it was in the video, we do that score survey where we make sure to get a pulse on how all the employees feel and truly feel by anonymous score surveys, and we go after that to focus on our goals and focus on the survey results, making plans after that to make sure everything is worked on. We don't want to just hear it and forget it. So this co-win program, that's a new program that we came up with to help coworkers in need. If anybody gets hurt or is sick and needs time off, they need some PTO, or they need just some money, that helps out a lot with their family. As you can see, we do a lot of fun things at Schoolcraft. We come up with monthly dress down days. Definitely being from Michigan, we had to celebrate that one by having a dress down day in your favorite team colors. For the holiday fun, we spend usually about 10 days of fun, making sure that everybody is taken care of. We do lots of door decorating and sometimes we do Christmas cookies and pictures with Santa. It's just a great, great time. We do pumpkin decorating contests, as you can see. Some people got very, very creative there. Here you can see the hospital week. The employer choice team joins up with the rest of the Cornerstone teams to celebrate hospital week every year. And every May, we have lots of fun activities. We've done cornhole tournaments, euchre tournaments. We do steak lunches. The wacky bowling was fun. Dress down days throughout the week. Service awards for everybody that's been there for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years even, right? I think we've gotten up to 40 years, so. The pop by and give thanks is a great thing we do during Thanksgiving. All the employees just come through and make sure they express that gratitude, because a lot of times you can just take it for granted. So we want to make sure we push that. Veterans Day, we always make sure we thank our veterans for their service and provide a nice lunch and have them be able to take their time off and have a great lunch. Our staff recognizes their coworkers every month for the staff matter here. It's very easy. You write a little note about how this employee has just been awesome, and they get nominated, and our staff matter tier or the employer choice team votes on that to make sure that we pick the very best one, and they get recognized. They get a picture with all of us and a nice letter congratulating them. We've been throwing a fun fair the past few summers when we can actually have nice weather to remind our staff to break away from the grind and have fun. We've had watermelon eating contests, elephant ears, and even dunking some of our brave leaders in the dunk tank.
Hey, my turn. My name is Jen, and I am the director of the Home Care and Hospice Department here at Schoolcraft. And I am a co-initiative champion because being the initiative champion is tough, and I couldn't do it alone. So I needed Scott to pair up with me. So I am the team lead. So I focus on how we team around here with the leads of these employee-driven teams. Today, Irma, I don't know if you can see my cursor, but Irma's down at the bottom there. She's the team lead. She's not able to make it today, so I'm filling in for her to talk about our service excellence team. The purpose of the service excellence team is to develop a workforce and hospital system that achieves high levels of satisfaction with patients, their families, and visitors. The team is also responsible to reinforce the positive communication standards. That's one of the big areas in this team. A few things: Patient Experience Week, that happens every year. Annually, we have a big production in our atrium. All of the different departments of the hospital have a chance to showcase what they've done, their satisfaction scores individually, the service that they provide. It's just a great way to enhance the patient and staff relationships, increase the hospital morale, and improve communication. Patient roadmap. So this is something fairly new that we are developing, and it's basically a guide for our patients during and after their hospital stay. So our goal is to deliver an exceptional experience. This patient roadmap guide has been created to help our patients with their stay. During their stay, the patients will keep it handy as a resource. So the point is they'll carry this around. It'll help them be able to log who they're interacting with, what happened at each of those steps, and just a way to make their stay a little bit more understandable even after the fact, because there's a lot that happens in a stay. The Recognize a Star program. It was designed to acknowledge and celebrate outstanding care and services provided by our dedicated hospital staff. This program allows patients to express their gratitude for exceptional care by recognizing specific individuals and their remarkable contributions. So our patients have the opportunity to write a little note and list a name of who really impacted them during their stay, and then those are displayed over by our cafeteria. Positive communication standards. Can't see what that says, but I mean, there's 12 positive communication standards. We feature one a month. Basically, one of our challenges is how to push these out. There's so many of them, and how do you tackle them all? So we decided to go on this monthly rotation. We educate the leaders at our leadership meeting on, let's say, for example, attitude of gratitude. And then the leaders then at their department meetings talk about the attitude of gratitude. And then Sarah, when she sends out our weekly pulse for that month, sends out these graphics on attitude of gratitude. So every month we're focusing on one while trying to practice them all.
Hi, I'm Jim Pan. I'm the Imaging Services Manager as well as the chairperson for the training team. And some of the things we like to do in the training team are provide essential work-related skills and knowledge training. We do it in very traditional topics like infectious diseases and in the workplace, but we also do some non-traditional things like how to replace a roll of TP. And that was an effort to solve a problem in a light-handed fashion. We like to do team building sessions and when we can do some health and wellness spotlights as well. And the Cornerstone Initiative refreshers. So that last video you saw was one of the projects of our team as well. One of the things we like to do are do spotlights on departments so we can give it a greater appreciation of what they go through and some of the things that they do, the challenges they face. We like to do provider spotlights so we can get to know our staff better. Also, we might even do a provider practice spotlight, which helps us to get a greater appreciation of some of the services that we provide here at our hospital. And I do have a quick example of a video that we've done. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Jim Pan. I'm the chairperson for the Schoolcraft Memorial Hospital Cornerstone Training Team. I'd like to formally invite you to join me and my fellow teammates in a highly rewarding and satisfying position on the training team. As a part of the training team, you'll be able to wear awesome apparel. You'll be given a $5 coupon to the Southtown Cafe for attending the team meetings. You'll also be able to enjoy fabulous parties. And most importantly, you'll get the satisfaction of knowing that you worked with an outstanding group of people to make our hospital a better place to work. You might ask, what exactly is the training team and what do they do? You've probably seen some of our work. The training team, as part of the SMH Cornerstone Initiatives, is comprised of a group of employees that volunteer their time to organize and host high-quality training programs for the staff at SMH. Specifically, throughout the year, the training team will plan, create, produce, promote, and present these and other events related to the strategic initiatives of the hospital, such as growth, quality, and service. Let's take a moment and talk about a typical project that the training team might be involved in. The team will begin with a planning session where we will discuss the particulars of the upcoming training event. Often this produces robust and enthusiastic discussion on how best to proceed. As with any project, there can be many differing opinions. Although this process can be arduous, the team always finds a way to reach a common consensus on a path forward. Now we begin the phase where the real work is done. Many people have the mistaken idea that being on the training teams means that you're going to stand in front of people. While that can and does happen on occasion, the vast majority of our work is done behind the scenes. As a member of the training team, you might find yourself collecting props, promotional materials, or writing a script. You may find yourself behind the camera orchestrating a scene, or you might be the one in front of a computer editing that same scene. You may find yourself in a meeting giving a report, or using your creative abilities to make a poster, create a banner on the grapevine, or make a crossword puzzle. Finally, after every event, there's time to celebrate and receive a hearty, well-deserved thank you for a job well done. So as you can see, the activities of the training team are many and varied, and most of it happens behind the scenes. What we do is important and valuable and a lot of fun. Please consider joining our team and being a part of the SMH Cornerstone program.
Very good, Jim. Yes. So fun. Well, now, this is Jane McLeod. I'd like to take over for a few minutes as we close up here. And you've already met the Rockstar team of leaders who shepherd the Cornerstone journey here at SMH. But do you guys mind if I ask you some questions? I'll start with you, Sarah, Director of Marketing. So you lead the community staff relations team, and I know our audience is wondering, how do you keep it fresh for your team year after year after year? How do you keep, employees' interest in what goes on with the team?
Well, I remember when I came here, they were like, well, we do these things every year. And I said, well, would you guys be open to trying a few other things? And like you said, just having that ability to just go and that trust to just start and begging for a little more budget every year so we can implement
Cost of living budget.
Yes. So we just have such freedom, and I really encourage you to let your teams dream it up. But having maybe the same event but a different theme, really putting a different spin on a fundraiser, keeps it interesting. More recently, we're just trying to engage in different types of events. So not just focused on like, how do we make an employee party fun, but like, how do we target a certain health issue or a group in the community that we know has been identified on our community health news assessment? How do we access that group and come up with an event to engage them? Or what kind of education should we put on virtually or in person? So it's definitely changed. Our focus has changed, but I think you just have to listen to your community, listen to your employees. There's some really great ideas, and that attitude of we tried it, it doesn't work. You just have to let that go.
Yeah.
If I would have just done what we did, there's a lot of events that you wouldn't see in our program.
Sure. Well, I loved how you explained that, really try to get to know your community before they need you. So friends and family, taking care of other friends and family. Thank you, Sarah. I want to turn to this gentleman at my right, Mr. Scott Blixt, who's the Chief Nursing Officer. As Jen explained, you guys are kind of co-leaders of leading the Cornerstone journey. And she's how we team around here, and you're how we lead around here, but also an executive on the senior leadership team. So I'll ask you, how important is Cornerstone to your hospital's culture, Scott Blixt?
Well, really, the steering team, we do whatever we can to support our teams because you can see all the beautiful work they've done. And really, I think the program is really to have everybody equal. I mean, the staff, we really value their input. They are heavily involved in our policy procedure creation, and as you can see, behavioral standards were created by them. And, that's important to us. The program has also created, other ways for them to provide input, whether it's recognition programs to the WAL program. It has, our employee-driven teams have allowed the staff to provide and guide our vision. It's really created some structure and tools for our leaders. You guys created now beautiful videos for them, so if they don't necessarily have to read, they could go in and watch a quick video on, shoot, I gotta have this critical conversation with somebody, how do I do that again? And so there's some basic tools for them to tap into. We also have our quarterly leadership trainings, and we have funds to help support, external speakers sometimes. And so that's been a great thing as well. Really to put emphasis on how important this really means to us. When I came here 6 years ago, we maybe had $1,000 to $5,000 to support this program. We are now funding this program with 50 grand. That's how much it means to us. And so, to be able to put on some of these events and reinvest in your staff, because ultimately we know that happy employees is happy patients.
Absolutely. Good for you. So I want to talk to your partner in crime, Jen, about what's exciting for Schoolcraft and Cornerstone in 2024.
A lot of the same events, the things that you've seen in the slideshow, we'll continue that. Some new things, two things that I really just wanted to hit on quickly, and that's the SMH Cares that Sarah really heads up, and that is employee engagement in the community. So I feel that is going to be even bigger than ever in 2024. And I just wanted to mention that those shirts that you saw, the DigiCamo, that was an employee recommendation through our WOW program. So the employee said, if I'm gonna go to this event, I want to be known as School. I think we should all have the same shirts. So they sent that through the WOW recognition or the WOW program, What Other Way is what it is. And our senior leaders adopted it and they went full force. So anyone who's engaging in the community will get one of those shirts. I think that's really great. And I feel like everyone by the end of 2024 will have one. And then our general hospital orientation. So orientation for new employees does have a little snip on Cornerstone, but in 2024, we are going to change it up. And our steering team is going to work toward expanding the PowerPoint that's shown and also have one of us team leads in the room to answer questions and talk about teams, just to give it a little bit more power at the beginning.
Wonderful.
So those are the two big things.
All right, cool. So Andy, Mr. CEO, you get the last word.
The last word.
As you should.
Could I, if he's gonna go last, can I bring one thing in? There's a question in the
Absolutely.
chat. Debbie, I believe from Mackinac Streets there, has a question. Does Schoolcraft have pathways to excellence or magnet designation? It sounds similar to the shared governance models in some other programs. So, no, magnet is hard for small.
It's very expensive.
It is very expensive.
And no, so I mean, yeah, it is a shared governance type model. Think about it. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
So, but thanks for that question, Debbie. Okay,
Okay.
now we can have the last word.
If you could give just one piece of advice to the executives and the other leaders watching today, what would you say would be the one thing they should definitely just start and do right away?
Just do it. I call it the JDI, right? Just do it. Is fun, and it's bringing fun to your organization. And kind of on the backside, when I interviewed for this position, and I've been here a little over a year and a half now, I specifically remember in my employee interviews, the staff bringing up, we have this Cornerstone program. What do you think of it, right? And I didn't know a whole lot about it other than it was an employee-driven team. And so just knowing there was an employee-driven team really said, the values of this organization were aligned with me. My values are aligned with the organization. This is going to be a great fit. And to this day in orientation, I remind people that when I was doing my research about Schoolcraft Memorial Hospital, and I researched their mission, their vision, and their behavior standards, and I uncovered that word fun. And you've heard it off and on all day today, but to have an organization that calls that out as an important behavior standard of how we want to do business, really was the icing on the cake to say, I need to have this job. I need to be part of this organization because I really do enjoy having fun at work. And that's the atmosphere that we're here. You know, some people say work hard, play hard. We truly live that here at Schoolcraft Memorial Hospital. We work really hard, and all of you out there, I know how hard you work in healthcare. It's a tough industry. And you can't make it work, and you can't be successful unless you have fun with the team that you're spending so much of your time with day in and day out. And that's really the driving factor. So the JDI, the Just Do It, is do something to implement fun in your organization and call it out.
Let the employees plan it.
Absolutely.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. We can't think of a better place to spend our birthday.
I'm
Our
sorry.
12th birthday.
I'm sorry that all of our virtual attendees can have some cake.
We're entering puberty now. We're 12. Just getting started.
So, well, yeah, thank you. And for those that are listening, and just here with us at the end, a recording will come out. We have some additional materials that we'll send out as well in follow-up. And we know some people weren't able to attend, but they registered so they could get the replay. So they'll get that too. And I'm certain that, you know, if you have any follow-up questions from the folks here at Schoolcraft or certainly us, happy to entertain those. In the future as well. Yeah, let's end on a crushed cake. All right, with that, we are signing off.
Happy birthday.